Hey everybody, here we are on yet another Monday night and I've managed to give myself the Heineken virus by eating almonds, and I've got a piece of an almond stuck in the back of my throat, just about hacked up a lung, which of course the sound technician thought was hilarious.
You gonna get through it, mate?
I'm sure I'll pull through. We'll just see how we go.
Okay.
Okay, everybody, let's get going with a Monday night. Let's see how we are, 23rd of March, 2020. Now, here we are. Mr. Duck slipped me an extra 20 bucks today because he wanted to be down with all the girls, so we had to do a rearrange. I just wanted to let everybody know he still exists and he's there. So you never know when you're going to run across him and need his assistance. And Mr. Loveday has had a grease nipple installed, and he's onto Loveday Vehicle Lubricants, and he tells me that it's worked out pretty well. So he's just working out that the lubricants he sells actually work. He's got a grease nipple installed in his hip. Here we are tonight with some sponsors. Enzo's. Mr. Enzo, we are thinking of you and your family in this period. It will be difficult, but you know what? There's still the opportunity to send away takeout. So if you're in Adelaide and you need to order some takeaway, you can do that from Mr. Enzo's, and I know that they can deliver it. The cafe still works at the front of the restaurant. I'm sure if you organise a table of 4, they can give you a big table and work it out. So thinking of you guys that are in the hospitality industry, and we hope that you pull through this, I suppose you'd call it a disaster that we are faced with, but everybody is having to make some changes and change some things. Our other sponsor for tonight is Mr. Saravalli, BJS Urban and Equine Fencing Solutions, also in Adelaide. We thought we'd put all the Adelaide people together tonight. Does some amazing work in getting things together down there and making sure that it all comes together. So want you to know that there is a process that you can go through to get in touch with these people. If you need to get in touch with anybody in Adelaide, let us know if you can't find their number, and we will hook you up with them as soon as possible. So let's get right in among this. Now tonight, I want to make sure that you understand this is our opinion. We are not representatives of Karatbars International, although we use their program and we talk about the system that they have built. We are in fact individual affiliates. And as we go through this program, you'll understand why, but we have our own ideas on why things are happening. Now, I'm going to play your video now that was done in 2014. Mike Maloney, 2nd of June, 2014. And I want you to listen to what he's talking about, because everything he talked about in 2014 has come to pass. And that's why we follow him fairly stringently. But I can tell you it is amazing to go back through history and listen to what has occurred in the past.
Welcome to Cambridge House Live. I'm Vanessa Collette here at the Canadian Investor Conference, Vancouver. I'm joined by Mike Maloney. Mike, great to have you here with us today.
It's great to be here.
Mike, where do we stand today on the next economic meltdown?
Well, we're in a period where, the markets have been going up for quite a while, and people are getting this feeling that everything's fine and that the powers that be took care of all the problems. And we are doing a tapering of quantitative easing in the United States. But the very fact that they had to do QE3, these are emergency measures, extreme emergency measures that are bigger than anything that has ever been done before. And they're still doing them. And now they're tapering, but they're tapering into weakness. The economy economy isn't doing that well. But, gold and silver have been going down now for a few years, and the markets just have been going up, so people think that everything is going to be fine. There's always a price to be paid for any manipulation, though, and what the Fed has done is an extreme manipulation, and there will be unintended consequences.
So everyone thinks that the markets are doing well, like we were saying right before filming, it's the Easter Bunny economy. The truth is not really out there on the reality of where the market's
right. Well, it all starts with a completely corrupt monetary system. Okay. Right now, everybody's on this income inequality kick, and most of that stems from this artificial monetary system based on credit. People are very confused. They call the stuff in their wallet money. They call the stuff in the bank account money, and it isn't. It's all debt-based. It's all owed back plus interest. Money is not debt, and people have to start learning the difference.
How's that as a throwback to 2014? Everything he talked about there has come to pass. There has been a massive price to pay. We are paying that as we speak. Everybody in the debt-based economy is in a world of hurt. And we are lucky enough to be involved in a business that gives us the open doorway to get out of that cycle. Now, if we get through this tonight and you're a new person on the call and you don't get the reason why you should be in this business, we have failed miserably. But I can tell you that this is exactly the sort of thing that I was reading about and hearing about 20 years ago. This guy was one of the people that started to talk about it, had rocks thrown at him for years. Everything he's talked about has come to pass. So we're going to talk to you tonight about a process you can go through to get out of the debt-based economy that he talks about. So here we go. Let's get going. We're here to talk about the carrot bars system. It's gold with a blockchain. And that gives you freedom from the debt-based society and security. Because if you've got freedom from that debt, you have lots of choices. So Carrot Bars was founded by Harold Seiss, and he has really opened some doors. He was involved with the German government prior to 2008. They didn't like what he was talking about, so they've got themselves into an even bigger pickle. In the meantime, he's gone away and started a company called Carrot Bars International. So Carrot Bars has around 900,000 affiliates worldwide in 140 countries, and it's a purveyor of 999.9% 24 karat fine gold. You can argue the toss over whether the price is right. You can argue the toss over whether you like a German company. You can argue about whether you actually think the Australian stock market will rebound sometime this century. But at the end of the day, this is gold. That's what we're here to talk about. Now, here's a bit of a roadmap. They were founded in 2011. 2016, I'm going to skip through this. They developed the cash gold and Carrot Bars payment system. Now, if you want to think about what that means, just watch what's coming soon. KBC was developed, a cryptocurrency. Now, the cryptocurrency is a key when you think about the payment structure that is in place today. For us to be able to move physical gold digitally, we need a blockchain. And this company has developed their own blockchain and their own payment system, which is backed up with supernodes all over the world. In fact, we've got a guy in Adelaide that managed to score 2 supernodes. Bless his little cotton socks. He'll be buying me a lot of red wine in the years to come. And in 2019, they released the first of their privacy products. That's the K1 phone, the WIM laptops, voice over blockchain protocol. And this protocol has been licensed to the company that builds drones for the US military and other military programs. I'm not sure whether you remember, but a few years ago, the Iranian military were very happy to show off that they had managed to get a US drone to land in Iran, fully intact, all systems working. That's what happens when you crack the communications protocol. There's $1 million prize out there today if you think you're good enough to crack this protocol. Nobody has managed to achieve that yet. Now, there's a lot coming this year, lots. So I'm not going to try and talk it through at this point in time. I'm going to give you a bit of history. Gold is money and everything else is credit. JP Morgan. And if you want to know what else he did in his life, there's a bank in existence in America called JP Morgan Chase. The JP Morgan Bank took over Chase Manhattan. Now it's JP Morgan Chase. He created a financial empire in his lifetime, and it has continued to expand today. He's a purveyor of gold. And this gentleman, who was head of the Federal Reserve in America when I lived there, had some interesting thoughts on the economy. Let me just spit that out with an almond. And who owns gold owns money. Notice he's not talking about currency. He's talking about money. That's a vastly different thing. So the gold standard was introduced into the US in 1873. And I'm going to play you a video shortly when Richard Nixon cancelled the gold standard. It has created the economic environment we're in today, and what's happening in Europe, etc., etc., etc. 2008, the real estate bubble, all of that has come from the lack of something behind our money. Now let's look at our money. That's what our $100 bill looks like. I don't very often have one of those, but every now and then I do at the moment because I get money out of an ATM that delivers it in that format. Here's what happens to it. Over a 20-year period, your purchasing power with that money, that currency, drops off 54%. Now, I haven't made this number up. If you've been on this call before, you know that I put this slide up regularly. That screenshot, that little snip, was taken off an Australian government website where they talked about what the average inflation was over the last 20 years. And that's the impact, 54.28%. Let me say that again, 54.28%. If you think that's okay, I've got a bridge in Brisbane here that I'd like to sell you really cheap because I can get you a great price. Every dollar we have that's on those polymer notes has this problem. Every single one. Now let's look at the alternative. In 1920, a kilo of gold bought you a top of the line Ford. 2020 does the same thing. In fact, today you would have a lot of change from that kilo of gold buying that Ford pickup. A lot. Gold maintains its purchasing power. We're not here to debate whether the price of gold goes up or down. What we're here to explain to you is gold maintains its purchasing power. There is nothing else like it in the world. Carrot Bars has headquarters all over the world. Their headquarters are in Stuttgart, sorry, they have branches all over the place. They've got a gold store in Singapore, another one in Hong Kong. I'm looking forward to getting to Singapore as soon as this Heineken virus leaves us, I would love to go there and have a look at their systems. They have IT offices in Germany, Bangladesh, and Romania, and I have to say the support staff are pretty good. So let's look at what else they do. They have global partnerships with FedEx, the delivery partner. They have an association with LBMA. They certify that the gold that comes out of Carat bars is approved. That means it's 999.9% pure. Find somewhere else you can do that. And they have a payment partner in MasterCard and a licensing partner in the Vatican. The Vatican buys 100,000 of those cards at a time. It's real gold. MasterCard is the payment partner. I get paid onto my Carat bars MasterCard. There's no dispute about it. Every Friday night, whatever I've earned this week goes on the card. It's a very, very cool system. The mission is to bring gold to everybody, the little people, to get us out of the debt-based society. Now, there's heaps of people on this call that have done that, and I have to tell you that it's eminently doable. If you can do this, just take a percentage of your time and do this. You'll get debt-free. Make sure that you understand the power of this system. Now, if you look at gold in human history, it's been around for thousands of years. And if you look at the year of 1873, that's when the USA transitioned from silver into a gold standard. But look what happened in 1971. The USA temporarily suspended the gold standard. Temporarily. Now, let's be really, really clear on what that means. When you take a note into a bank in America today, you can exchange it for other notes, but you can't swap it for your gold. Now, let's have a listen to Mr. Nixon and what he actually said when they suspended the gold standard.
The third indispensable element in building the new prosperity is closely related to creating new jobs and halting inflation. We must protect the position of the American dollar as a pillar of monetary stability around the world. In the past 7 years, there's been an average of one international monetary crisis every year. Now, who gains from these crises? Not the working man, not the investor, not the real producers of wealth. The gainers are the international money speculators. Because they thrive on crises, they help to create them. In recent weeks, the speculators have been waging an all-out war on the American dollar. The strength of a nation's currency is based on the strength of that nation's economy. And the American economy is by far the strongest in the world. Accordingly, I have directed the Secretary of the Treasury to take the action necessary to defend the dollar against the speculators. I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets, except in amounts and conditions determined to be in the interest of monetary stability and in the best interest of the United States. Now, what is this action, which is very technical, what does it mean for you? Let me lay to rest the bugaboo of what is called devaluation. If you want to buy a foreign car or take a trip abroad, market conditions may cause your dollar to buy slightly less. But if you are among the overwhelming majority of Americans who buy American-made products in America, your dollar will be worth just as much tomorrow as it is today. The effect of this action, in other words, will be to stabilize the dollar.
Wow. So, did you all grasp that bit about what happened to the gold When this note was printed that's on the screen right now, you could take that into any bank and exchange it for gold. It was a gold certificate. So you could go and exchange that piece of paper for a chunk of gold and walk home with it in your pocket. Where do you think the gold went when Nixon suspended the gold standard? Who ended up with the gold? Obviously, in the short term, it stayed with the banks. So Richard Nixon, in his infinite wisdom, agreed with the banks and propped them up by a massive injection of gold, all of which ended up in the hands of the American government eventually. Now, if you think that's an okay way to conduct business, ask yourself how, if you were operating a small business, you could get away with that. If any one of us on the call tonight did something like that, we'd end up in jail for a very long time. It's sad, but it's already happened. And if you think it's not likely to happen again, you need to read all the documentation on the bail-in laws that are in effect today. So let's talk about money. Let's talk about what we have today to go down the street and buy something. That's what our money looks like. We can't call them greenbacks. That's money, according to our government. It's called fiat currency. Now, there is a technical reason for calling it fiat, other than fix it again, Tony. But fiat currency is actually just paper money that's issued by our government. It has no guarantees. The only reason it works is that we, the people that carry it, believe that it will work. The very second that the population loses confidence in the currency, the entire thing falls in a heap. Because this money loses value via inflation every second of every day. Don't think it doesn't. We see it happening every year. Would you like me to show you how to defeat inflation? If the answer is yes, pay very close attention, because this is Gold Standard Bank and the way that we do that. The Gold Standard Bank is built on, of course, gold. But to actually allow us to make payments with gold, we need a digital currency. So we have our own token built on our own blockchain that enables those payments. It's critical to how the whole system works. Now, if you're anything like me, when someone took the umbrage to talk to me about cryptocurrency, I wanted to vomit in their shoe, because cryptocurrency has no asset backing. None. Zero, zilch, nada, nil. But this one is stable because it's backed by gold. I can exchange my tokens into gold. Now, that got my attention when I understood that. But to make this all work, I need some merchants that will accept the system. So now I've got a K-merchant program. And what if those merchants could actually accept payments even in gold? Wouldn't that be cool? And yes, they can even accept payments in cryptocurrency, not just the KBC, but Bitcoin and Ethereum as well at the moment. That list will widen. So make sure you understand exactly what we're talking about here, because now we've got a process in place that creates fees back into the bank that I make money from, that you can make money from, that everybody on this call can make money from. And by the way, it's a bank, so we've got a vault. What do you think happens if the merchants who accept the gold decide they want to put it in the vault? They get paid. They get paid handsomely. You need to understand this process is unique. When I put something in the vault, or when that K merchant puts something in the vault, they get paid by weight of gold, not in value. What do you think that means to their outcome if the price of gold doubles? It's impressive. So the next thing that can happen is the bank can put money in the vault, or whoever holds gold in the bank can put money in the vault, or they can convert tokens and put the tokens into the vault. There are people on the call tonight that have that very, very major plan to put tokens into the vault in big numbers because the yield is phenomenal. Now that's a great system, but if I've got a digital gold payment system and I'm on the internet, do you reckon I need some security? Yep. Well, now we've got it. Now we've got a K1 phone that's fully encrypted. Now we can do all of our banking and all of our payments on the internet and never have that information stolen. But to use the K1 phone, I need some of these tokens. And because I'm using these tokens on the payment platform, I'm going to create fees in tokens that go back into the bank that once again we all make money from. And if you're a fat finger guru like myself, you need something bigger than a phone to do this. So you get a laptop, runs the same voice over blockchain technology, has the same key as the phone, has not been cracked ever. So you need some of those tokens to pay for the laptop to use the blockchain. So every time you use the blockchain, you're going to create fees that go back into the gold standard bank. And once again, let me remind you, we all make money from the fees that go into the gold standard bank. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call gold standard banking. That is unique in this world and has not been duplicated anywhere else yet. And I don't think they will, because the voice over blockchain technology is patented. So it'll be pretty hard to copy. So let's look at what's happening in reality. Let's just have a look at some real numbers. This is a complete commerce system, and gold has been valued and treasured for a millennia. So everything we're talking about is built on gold. It is the only constant medium of exchange and wealth preservation to be relied on universally. The only. Find one somewhere else and let me know. What's happened in the last 20 years? Gold has approximately increased in buying power about 10% a year. You can debate that number with me if you like. You can get your calculator out and show me down to 4 decimal places what that is. I don't care. It's approximately 10% a year. Because in 2000, 31 grams, 1 ounce was 450 Australian dollars, and today it's 2,500. Do the maths. So let's just think about what happened if you didn't have gold, like most of us on this call tonight. What happened if you had a cash deposit in a bank? In that same period, your cash has lost 54.28% of its buying power. I'm not making this number up, ladies and gentlemen. That is a real number. Even if the gold did not increase in value at all, you'd be 54.28% in front. But it has increased. It will increase. It increases every day. I'll show you some numbers later. You need to understand what this can do for you and your family. You want some proof? Here it is in really confronting numbers. Average house price in Sydney in 1975, $28,000. Today, $850,194. Now you do that maths and tell me how that's a good deal. I've not found anyone that can tell me that. Pay attention. Here's a 20-year gold price history in Australian dollars per ounce. Now you can draw a line across the peaks, you can draw a line across the troughs, you can take a marker and just swipe an average across there. You can see where that's going. It's impressive. So today, gold went up 0.23%. 0.23% today. Now, I meant to copy out the rest of it, but I missed it, don't know how. There's some other numbers there, meaning over the last month it's had a slight drop in value. Yes, it does. That's why you've got on that 20-year price history graph ups and downs. But you can see where it's going. Here's a news headline that I had come through today. Gold has recovered after the sell everything mode in global markets battered by the coronavirus outbreak. The precious metal is a safe haven asset. Yes, Brent, check out the graph on the stock market. See how that compares. We're going to do that in a few minutes. So, yes, there's been some trending off in the price of gold and silver in the last few weeks, and that's because the way the stock market has collapsed, the people that are in that market are having to sell everything else they've got to raise capital to pay their margin calls. But there you are with I've just clipped that off a headline that came through this afternoon. Gold has recovered. The precious metal is a safe haven asset. So in this century, gold has increased by about 500%. If your income has not increased by 10% a year, you're going backwards. Now, please put your hand up in the chat room or say something or unmute yourself if your income has increased by 10% a year. Because I don't know anybody that's had that happen. And yes, Carolyn, gold is a tier 1 asset. Now, I saw an interview with one of the advisors I follow in Phoenix, Arizona, who was doing a question and answer session, and one of the people on the call at the time sent in this question, and it was, if gold is such a good asset, why does my financial controller recommend 5% of my portfolio in gold? And she looked straight at the camera and said, your financial advisor is an idiot. That's why he says that. Now, I'm pretty enamored of this lady because she's blunt. She does not pull any punches. She's been telling people for years to get into gold and silver, physical gold and silver, which is what we're talking about. This is a phenomenal opportunity. Why would you continue to lose value at that rate now you know there's an alternative? I don't understand why people would do that. I don't understand why you would continue to do that when you know there's an alternative. So here's what we need to look at, the wealth principles. Pay yourself first. Make sure you buy some gold every single month. Do it. Establish a residual income. Do it. Make sure you limit your tax exposure. Do it. And stay ahead of the inflation curve. Do it. You now know there's an alternative. Why continue to follow the sheep that are going down a disaster road? I bank in gold, do you? This is what we're here to talk about. What would you like to do next? Well, the next step is really simple. Register for a free account. There's no fees. Get to the go button. Get started. Register with a multi-pack. Now, why would you do that? Well, you get e-points with a multi-pack today. But what can you do with your e-points? That's really the question, isn't it? Well, here you go. Today, we know you can transfer your e-points into cash onto your MasterCard. Very soon, you'll be able to use them through Carrot Pay to buy products and services anywhere. Or you can exchange it in the Carrot Bar's website for cash gold. Now, that's a really good deal. It's approaching the best deal I've seen them do. There's lots of things happening in the world. But if you exchange it into cash gold, you have money. You can spend gold anywhere in the world. I had a good friend of mine a few days ago say to me, yes, but you can't eat the gold. That's right. When was the last time you put tomato sauce on a polymer note and ate that? Can't eat that either. What you need to understand is you can spend gold anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. Make sure you understand that. So why would you buy a multi-pack? Well, the buyer, if you were to perhaps say buy a 150 bronze pack, you get 485 e-points convertible into cash or cash gold. On top of that, you get a bronze status in the dual team, which earns you another level of income. The seller, so if you register someone that buys that same bronze pack, you get 40 e-points. Remember, they're convertible into cash or cash gold, down 2 levels. But the 285 bronze pack gives you 6 months qualification, 750 e-points, and you get 40 e-points and 0.1 grams of cash gold when someone buys that pack. Same with the silver. You get 1,650 e-points. When someone buys one, you get 120 e-points that you can convert into cash or gold. That is a very cool system, and it goes on. When they buy a gold pack, if you've got a gold pack, you earn 350 points, convertible into gold, on top of the commission in the payment system. It's amazing. Let's go to the VIP level. You buy a VIP, 3,050 euros, you get 5,000 e-points. Remember, convertible. And you get 550 e-points for everybody that registers, plus half a gram of gold. But what if you go the whole hog? What if you buy the 4,500 pack? 7,400 e-points and 900 e-points for every person that registers, plus a gram of gold. Notice it's a gram of gold. It's not the price of a gram of gold. And you get 5% bonus in the dual team from the matching bonus. This system gives you 2 more levels of income on top of the existing compensation plan, which I'm not going to go into tonight. Happy to do that in a separate webinar. Happy to do it in a one-on-one webinar if that's what you need. Let's think about this. What's this business built on? Okay, it's built on gold. What if I asked you to save a gram of gold per month? Would you do it? You can get one of those cards with a gram of gold in it. You can get one of those cards with 5 grams of gold in it. You need to understand what it is that we're talking about. We're talking about physical gold, not ETFs, not contracts, not futures. We're talking about physical gold. That is what billionaire investors do. That's why they're billionaires. They make sure that everything they do has a long-term outcome. So let's look at this new incentive. Now, Carolyn, can you unmute yourself? Try that. Hello. Oh, there we go.
Delio is a billionaire, so that's why I commented about him before. Can you hear me?
Yes, all good.
Okay, so I was just commenting about Ray Dalio because he is a billionaire. He has 20% of his assets in gold. Right, this incentive is fantastic. The Carrot Bars incentives that come along a couple of times a year are brilliant. At the moment, the actual Las Vegas event has been postponed, but the incentive goes on. So if whatever you win during the incentive, you will actually win it. Whether you intend to go to the event or not, that will happen later on. So it started in last month. It will finish mid next week, so 31st of March next week. These are actually incentive points. So they're different, they're IPs, and they're different to the EPs, which are in the multi-packs.
So you'll get them at the same time?
You will get IPs and EPs. So by registering people, these are all to your direct. So any new people who you register. So they are called personal referrals. This is the first incentive that you can win by earning 50 incentive points. And pretty much that's a silver pack. So if you sell a silver pack to someone,
Bronze.
you will, pardon?
You win a bronze pack. Yep.
Yeah, but this is it, the 50 incentive points.
Yep.
So over on the right, that's what you will win. Next slide, please. So you will earn, by earning incentive points, you will get exclusive points, which is the EPs. There's one for 650 incentive points. Next one, please, Derek. This one is 1,350 incentive points. This is where you start to get some travel allowance as well as free phone. Anyone listening would like a K1 phone for free? That's over 1,250 euros worth here. So again, great incentives. That's quite a few silver packs if you work it out. A silver pack, if you sell a silver pack, it's 50 incentive points. So there's quite a few in that 1,350 incentive points. This next one steps up. This travel allowance will actually cover your flights and some accommodation. Again, you get a free phone. Now here, at the end of this document, which you can find under downloads, what do you need to do? This will list every pack that you can sell and how many incentive points you'll earn. So if you work out what you'd like to win or how many particular multi-packs you want to sell, then you can work out what freebies you will earn. And I can certainly attest to the freebies and how fabulous they are. So have a look at that under downloads. That'll be about page 22. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Carolyn. That's a bit of an update on the incentive points. I know there's people on the call that have made inordinate outcomes with these incentives. They are phenomenal. You can make a whole truckload of money, a truckload of gold, and phones and laptops and all sorts of things. Mm-hmm. Let me try and see if I can get Jan McCloskey on the call. See if I can find her. Ms. McCloskey, can you tell me how many grams of gold you got on your incentive when you won that last call?
65.
65 grams of gold. Now, that was on top of a pile of money. And what else did you get in that incentive?
Laptop.
A laptop.
2,500 euro travel.
There you go.
200,000 crypto. plus a €15,000 pack. At the time, it was a profit pack. 6 tickets to the Madrid conference.
Okay,
which
you're just showing off now.
Yeah, I know.
That was a phenomenal outcome. Jan was number 7 in the world, and wow, what a package. It was amazing, and I was really proud to see her accept that, and she's now got gold with her own name on it, and she carries it around. She's actually number 7. You can address her in future as number 7, and anytime you want to see the card, she's got it in her hip pocket. Don't you worry about that. So let's look at what the next updates are going to be. There is a new crypto debit card coming. Now, if you think this is really new technology, some of it is, some of it isn't. The actual debit card process is not. The package that's behind it is. So this is what Karatbars have been really good at. They've been able to merge technologies and make things better for us. So here's a list of debit cards that are connected to wallets on the net today. So you can get this Wirex card. It's linked to 8 cryptos. It's a Visa card. Apparently the fees are not as cheap as the one below it, but it's only linked to 1 crypto. Our card will be linked to everything we do to our wallet. Now, what does that mean long term? Well, if you register someone that in some way, shape or form ends up with $1,000 in our system, in their crypto wallet, and they go to work one day, have a bad day and say, that's it, I want out, they can pull out their debit card, spend their money. Simple as that. We don't have anywhere in the world a better option than that. You can just spend it. That's pretty cool. So here's the next thing, number 2. This is a new trading platform that we expect to see in May. And it is an arbitrage program on cryptocurrencies. And here's an example. And what I did just as a screenshot, these prices were taken on the same day. So that's the same coin that I've looked up the price on. And you can see on the left, it's 0023, and on the right, it's 0020. Now, yes, they're different currencies, but they're not that far apart. And once you've got them in different currencies, there's yet another arbitrage opportunity. It's an amazing opportunity for us, and we will use KBC, the coin pictured there, to fund that and make it work. I'm real excited about that one. It will make a massive difference in our business and be yet another income stream for us. CaratPay, our own online gold payment system, will go onto the blockchain in June, and that's really a chance for us to use our entire system and pay merchants with gold. That's what we're looking forward to. Now, I'm going to try and hurry this up a little bit. We need to talk about some news. Gold price is stable. You need to keep watching. Now, yes, it's going up and down, but have a look at this. That's what happened in the ASX 200 in the last few months. Have a look at February, March. How does that excite you? Gold up a bit today. That's what happened in the ASX 200. 172 companies are losing their shirts. Let me just say that again. 172 companies out of 200 are losing value, inordinate amounts of value. Here's what happened historically. So in the last 30 days, gold has had a 3.65% increase in value. That calculates out to 43.8% annual. I know some of you are going to say, yeah, but you can't do that because you can't actually calculate that out. I understand that. Have a look what it did for 6 months, 14.37. Last year, 38.63. 5 years, 70.28. According to the commentators out there today, gold has not even started yet. This is going to go through a spike the likes of which you haven't seen. So please understand what you have your hands on. This company has complied with every directive that's been given to them by a government. They currently have their warehouse closed because the government won't let them have people work together. They can't run a warehouse from home. And yet I hear people complain and say, I don't trust them because their warehouse is closed. What do you want them to do? The bloody border's closed. Have a look at what they've achieved. They've had phenomenal outcomes. Really, really phenomenal outcomes. We've got a gold vault, we being the company, you've got a gold vault in Singapore. What if I wanted to go and visit that vault tomorrow? Guess what? Can't do it. Little thing called Heineken flu. This virus has impacted everything we do in this business, everything that happens in our society today. And it's going to get worse. When I say get worse, the impact is going to get worse. I can't even get something shipped to me from some countries because the border is closed. How do you expect them to get it here? Okay. Harden up, sunshine. We're going to continue to do what we do. We're going to do this with online meetings. We're going to use Zoom a lot. Our business increased today. Had new members join today. People are looking for an alternative. Make sure you understand what you have access to. People are looking for an alternative. I witnessed somebody sitting at a McDonald's today having a coffee, talking to two other people, and a lady eavesdropping, and he said, would you like me to send you some info on the gold to your husband? She said, no, send it to me. I'm interested. People are looking. You have in your hands the answer. Get people out of the debt cycle. Show them how to get free. Anybody got any questions? Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey, Derek.
Yes, sir.
Just while we're waiting for anyone maybe to ask some questions, first I just want to say it was a brilliant presentation. I love the way you put these slides together. It just makes so much sense. But that one, particularly a Mike Maloney that you did, I remember back in Headalong, remember that last year?
Yes.
And we looked a lot at the future of money that weekend, and he talked about fiat currency. And to be honest, I didn't even know what that meant. You know, so, and most of those people that were there that weekend are on this call tonight. So we've had some time to get to know this system and to know, you know, gold is real money, and we knew this was coming. No, I don't think anyone predicted the coronavirus and the extent of this. You know, ScoMo is talking about it could be as bad as the Great Depression, and I mean that's not unrealistic. But what you've shown tonight is something for everyone, and I think a lot of people are scared at the moment. You know, we were talking to a lady tonight who's lost $100,000 out of her super and her job, you know, so some scary stuff out there. But we have the answer here, and I think a bit of compassion, a bit of patience. Let's just remember that, you know, carrot bars is the answer. And just, again, mate, great call tonight, fantastic slides, and let's get out there and spread the word.
Thanks, Brent. Anybody else got any questions? I don't see any. Amy was in the loop. Yep. Great work, Roger. Without you, mate, we wouldn't be here. So thanks, Roger Yates, down there in Adelaide. You're in the hub, mate. That's where all the activity is. We're just on the periphery. Anybody else got any questions? Yeah, I know they have good wine down there. Now, listen, there is one thing I do need to talk about on this call. South Australia has closed their border. So make sure that you understand, if you want really good red wine, you're going to have to sneak in a rowboat on a dark night into somewhere near where Brad, Sarah Valley and Roger live and walk up to the Barossa Valley and steal it. So thanks, everybody. Look, I don't see any questions coming through. I don't see any hands going up. Really appreciate everybody joining us tonight. We have every opportunity to change the outcomes in the world as we see it. Please don't miss that opportunity. Thank you for joining us. Oh, look out. Malcolm Langford says cellar doors closed today. Malcolm, we're going to have to put you in charge of a highway robbery team. Thanks, Jackie. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We look forward to seeing you on the golden beaches of the world.